Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me directly, tmosso at the1916company.com for purchase and pricing and availability questions regarding this Rolex certified pre-owned Oyster Perpetual Datejust turno-o-graph. So this is the discontinued and highly sought turno-o-graph, and the easy way to remember this is it's the only Datejust with a rotating bezel. The original model came out in the early 1950s as a running mate to the Submariner. The Submariner was viewed as a dive watch from the beginning, whereas the turno-o-graph was originally looked at as perhaps a technician's watch, a traveler's watch, maybe a pilot's watch, and it was its own model initial, reference 6202, before it became part of the Datejust collection and was ultimately adopted by the Air Force Thunderbirds in the United States, the Air Force equivalent of the Blue Angels Aerobatic Demonstration Squadron. As a result, this watch is often nicknamed the Thunderbird. So the turno-o-graph is part of that Rolex tool watch aviation heritage. And this model was the 116, a 261 in a combination of Ever Rose red gold and 904L steel. Rolex calls it oyster steel. Discontinued sometime around 2010 or 2011, the turno-o-graph hasn't been a feature in the collection since, though like many Rolex models, it can be described as dormant rather than truly dead. This generation, however, is officially discontinued. It's a traditionally sized Datejust, 36 millimeters in diameter, and you can see it is 11.6 millimeters thick, 44 millimeters from end to end if you're just measuring the case lug to lug, but if you're measuring end link to end link, it's a broader 45.6 millimeters with a 20 millimeter spacing in between the lugs. We're going to roll around to the clasp, which you can see features a straight-through Ever Rose red gold stripe, and then there's a lift lock system. The way this works is you've got an articulated lift lock, so you've got a little retaining bar, and then you've got this hook, and these two things latch together, and when you lift, you unlock it. So it's not friction fit. There is a locking mechanism here. It's quite intricate and well designed. Internally, you can see that the clasp is polished, and we have a useful feature called Easy Link, so you can snap in, snap out to the effect of 5 millimeters of tool-free adjustment, so you have fine-tuning ability. You can see a partial link, and then full-size links adjacent with these links fixed by screws and removable if necessary. There's another way you can size this watch, though. If you go inside, it features 3 pairs of divots inside the clasp, and so you can use your strap tool to dismount the spring bar and change the anchoring point of the bracelet to fine-tune the fit. Taking a look at the bracelet, you can see it's a Rolex Oyster bracelet, the 3-link design, and it features a conforming end link to mate it cleanly to the case. It traces the arc of the case flank and then also the slope of the lugs. There's a bit of taper down towards the clasp. You can see polished center, satinated shoulders with the outer faces on both sides polished. Rolling around to the case, classic Oyster case. We've known it since 1926. It's an old friend. 904L steel is a type of steel alloy that's high in nickel and is particularly resistant to corrosion. So whereas conventional 316L watchmaking steel can corrode in the presence of sweat or seawater if it's not rinsed immediately, this will not. The gold. Let's talk about Ever Rose. Why is it called Ever Rose? Well, it's rosy because of a higher percentage of copper, but then it also has a higher percentage of platinum family metals as a secondary. Remember, 18 karat gold is 25% other metals. And so by making those inert metals from the platinum family, it will be forever rosy. It won't fade from red to rose to pink. It'll always be a very intense red tone, and that's why it's called Ever Rose. We have a screw-down crown here. You can see 2 dots means it is a gold twin lock crown, and the watch is 100 meters water resistant. There's your case back. People always ask. Nothing to see back there, but it's secure and well made. Bidirectional bezel, so you can tell it's not a pilot's bezel. Unlike something like a Yachtmaster, which has a detented action, this has a super smooth, gliding, undetented action, almost like it's on a Teflon Norglide bearing. And then you can line up that index with whatever you want, really, seconds, minutes, or hours. It forms a reference point that you can use for timing. I think the most natural is to use it as a minute timer because it's calibrated from index all the way around up to 60. You can also see the differential finishes. We have satin finish and lacquering for the numerals, and then the traditional Rolex fluted profiles that you'd expect on a precious metal bezel on a Rolex watch. The dial's quite special because the first thing you'll notice is it isn't Rolex's usual gloss black lacquer. This is a matte dial which soaks up the light and gives it a very cool, almost utilitarian aesthetic. We have some elements of red, the turno-o-graph script, the red varnished seconds hand, and then the date disc. And just to be clear, Both the evens and the odds are red. It's a red on white disc. It's not a roulette. Taking a look at the indices, they're fascinating. They're actually double stacked with polished and media blasted facets for better contrast. And there is some lume, so we'll take a look at that now. You can see it's all green, super luminova. This is the era before Rolex Chromolite. The movement inside is Rolex caliber 3135, same as you'd see on a Submariner from this period. Bidirectional automatic winding with a jeweled staff winding system and twin Teflon-coated reversing wheels for super smooth action. It has a 48-hour power reserve, a 4 Hz beat rate, a quick set date, a hacking seconds function. The 4 Hz rate oscillates on a train of 31 pivot jewels, and it has a full balance bridge and a free-sprung balance for shock resistance. The free-sprung balance also makes for very precise adjustment via Rolex's patented microstella variable inertia screws on the balance rim. There's also an overcoil hairspring shaped by hand with a Breguet profile that allows isochronous or consistent timekeeping in every physical orientation with respect to gravity. Finally, the movement is tested in 5 positions and is certified as a Swiss chronometer caliber. So this watch is absolutely stacked. If you love this discontinued inside baseball type of watch connoisseur certified pre-owned Rolex Datejust, the turno-o-graph, reach out to Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase and pricing details. Rolex certified pre-owned watches are backed and authenticated by Rolex. Should any reconditioning be necessary, it will be to a Rolex certified standard, and any parts invested Rolex factory original. Should the initial retail box, paper, and accessory set still accompany the watch, it will be included with the sale. But no matter what, a certified pre-owned box and paper set starts with an outer box, a leatherette travel pouch with suede lining, a warranty card that embodies the 2-year globally valid Rolex-backed warranty. Note, this is not a retail warranty, but backed by Rolex and actionable at any of its authorized points of sales and service. A leatherette wallet includes the warranty terms and conditions manual. A holographic hang tag marks this as a certified pre-owned Rolex watch, and a manual details Rolex's values as a company. The certified pre-owned program, care, feeding, service, and use of your Rolex, locations of points of sales and service, and details of Rolex.com. Rolex certified pre-owned watches are backed only by Rolex.